Hello and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast, a weekly podcast with the intention to inspire, empower, and uplift us all to develop a healing consciousness that we, that is you and me, may forever allow for greater and grander versions and expressions of who and what we are to emerge with ease, grace, and spiritual dignity. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and I am your host. Blessings and welcome to this week's episode of the Path to Freedom podcast. This podcast about waking up to who what we are, about allowing for greater and grander expressions of that who and what to emerge, for the love and the peace and the joy and the harmony and the wisdom and the wholeness and the freedom and the abundance and the creativity and the intelligence that is inherent within us to flow through us, to reign supreme. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and I'm the host. And I'm very privileged, and I'm very grateful, and I'm very honored to be the host of this podcast. This is like the 60th episode. My God. It's been over a year. And it's been an amazing journey. I'm so grateful that it continues. I'm so happy that this is an ever expanding and ever unfolding journey, and a vision that keeps growing. But it wouldn't be what it is without you. So for all that, I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful that you are here. I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you have chosen to participate, that you have chosen and are choosing to join me week after week after week after week, that we together may co-create this field of high energy, of expansion, of consciousness, of raising our vibration. So it's beautiful, and I'm very grateful for you and for who you are and for what you contribute to this podcast. The topic for today is inherent within every yes, there is a no. And this topic has emerged out of a conversation that I had with an individual the other day. So I'm looking forward to that. As always, I'm looking forward to see what Spirit has to say and what Spirit will say in us and through me. But also, as always, before we get into all of the chatting and talking and noise making, let's have a moment of just coming back to the nowness of this moment, of centering ourselves and grounding ourselves in the eternal moment of meditation, to put it straight. And so in this moment, as the music begins to play, I invite you to put a smile on your face, informing your body that all is well, that right in this moment, all your needs are met, that the body may begin to relax, that your body may begin to produce these tonic chemicals, these good for the body, good for the mind, good for the soul chemicals. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable, place your feet firmly on the ground. I invite you to gently begin to tap between your eyebrows, activating that first eye, the spiritual eye, the divine eye, that we may catch and see and hear that which cannot be caught or seen or heard with our human senses. So we gently tap there for a while. And while we do, let's set our intention for this meditation sitting. My intentions are always to wake up to who and what I am, to allow for greater and grander expressions of that who and what to emerge, and to be a forever greater and grander teacher than I've ever imagined. So that's why I'm sitting. Can release the tapping, place our hands in our lap, palms facing upward, perhaps allowing our thumbs and middle fingers to touch as a sign of receptivity. And as we take on the feeling tone of knowing and feeling that all is well, we turn our attention toward our breath and we move into the stillness. So peace, be still. And as we use our breath as an anchor in the eternal, we need to be aware of two things when it comes to the breath. Number one is that the body knows how to breathe. It is fully capable and able to breathe when it needs to breathe as much as it needs to. And so we need not take charge of our breathing. We can simply relax, surrender, and observe the breath as it happens. And secondly, we want to be aware of what a full breath is. Full breath is the in breath. It's the space in between in and out breath. It's the out breath and the space in between out and in breath. And so we want to keep our attention on our breath through the full circle of breath. And again, and again, and again. So if our mind drifts, if our attention drifts, we gently and lovingly turn it back toward the breath, and we begin again. Come back to the breath and begin again. Come back to the breath and begin again. So in a moment, move us into prayer. I invite you to remain with your eyes closed, your mind open, available, attentive, that you may catch the vibration of the prayer, giving you permission to lift you even higher. And so in this very moment, how grateful I am for this moment. How grateful I am for the peace that is here, that we are. The love that is here, that we are. The harmony that is here, that we are. The wholeness that is here, that we are. How grateful I am for all the gifts and blessings that are present in each and every single moment. For the infinite possibilities that are surrounding us and that are equally present in each and every single moment. I'm grateful for you and for your participation, your contribution to this podcast and to this field, this collective field of high energy, high vibration, expanded consciousness. I'm grateful for your willingness to be on this path, to walk this path, for your willingness to do the inner work necessary, to release and let go of that which no longer serves you, to give yourself permission to expand beyond anything that you've previously experienced or known. I'm grateful for your yes, fully knowing that in that yes, there are multiple no's. As you say yes to you, as you say yes to love, as you say yes to compassion, as you say yes to forgiveness, as you say yes to abundance, you simultaneously say no to everything that is not in harmony, that is not in alignment with that. And so I'm grateful for your courage to walk your own path. And I say all of this knowing and feeling that right where you are, right where I am, the fullness of God is. I know and feel the allness and the goodness and the eternality of spirit that everywhere, in every being, in every object, in every space and place, the fullness of God is. Infinite love, infinite peace, infinite joy, infinite harmony, infinite abundance, infinite wholeness, beauty, creativity, intelligence. It's all right here. Where you are, where I am. And I know and feel that God cannot ever diminish itself, contradict itself, go against itself, divide itself into parts. But wherever God is, the fullness of God is. Eternally sourcing and fueling and funding itself, sustaining and maintaining itself, guiding, leading, and moving itself into ever higher and greater and grander expressions of who and what it is. So you and me are a spirit expressing itself in us and through us. You and me are unique and perfect emanations of God, here to reveal the face of God, the qualities of God, the truth and essence of God in a beautiful and magnificent way. So right where we are, everything that we need, we have to keep moving forward. All of our needs are met, that we may keep moving forward. Nothing is lacking us. Nothing is missing us. I know it and I feel it. I know it and I feel it. I know it and I feel it. So it is. So be it. So shall it be. All right. Let's open our eyes. And welcome. Welcome. Not welcome back, but welcome to this new stage, this new plane, this new field, this new level of consciousness and vibration. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Welcome. All right. So the topic for today is inherent within every yes is a no. And I was speaking to an individual, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? And this individual is going through the process of releasing her mother. As it turns out, her mother, this individual has discovered in adult years that her mother is suffering from mental disabilities. And so this individual needs, or actually, this individual is in the process. That's how it is. This is how it is. This individual is in the process of cultivating self-love, of honoring herself, of cherishing herself, of prioritizing herself and her well-being. So she is in the process of saying yes to herself. And in this process, she needs and is beginning to learn and is beginning to work up the momentum and is beginning to work up the courage to say no to things that are not in alignment with the wholeness that she desires, with the peace that she desires, with the kind of life that she desires. And as we were talking, I was able to share with her that, and she has a modicum of guilt about saying no to things that she has previously said yes to, and she has a level of guilt, and is in some ways embarrassed because she no longer feels she can be there for others the way she has been. She has lived her life assuming responsibility for others, and now that she's beginning to assume responsibility for herself, saying yes to herself, it means that she no longer can afford to give herself to others in the same way. She cannot remain the same toward others that she has been. And this has created a conflict within her because she's so used to be of service. She's so used to assume responsibility for others. And now that she's beginning to release and let that go, shame and guilt is bubbling up. So as I was able to share with her that as she's saying yes to herself, or actually saying yes to herself means that she needs to say no to that which is not in alignment with this yes. For instance, let's say that an individual seeks to get in shape. This individual perhaps has spent a little bit too much time laying in the couch, eating chocolate or binge watching or whatever the case may be. and has now made the choice to begin to move, to begin to get into the habit of exercising, get the body back in shape. And so saying yes to getting in shape simultaneously means saying no to those things that are opposing and contradicting getting in shape. It doesn't mean necessarily that this individual needs to cut out all of the chocolate or all of the Netflix watching or all of the potato chips or all of the laying on the couch. But it means saying no to doing that more than anything else. So saying yes means saying no. And this is sometimes difficult. Oftentimes, there arises discomfort. And obviously, we have the ego jumping in. The ego, of course, is that space within us that give rise to our opinions and judgments and thoughts and perceptions. And from an evolutionary standpoint, the ego seeks to protect us from doing anything foolish or stupid that we may get killed or injured or hurt. So the ego seeks to preserve us and seeks to preserve this current expression. And so the ego does not want us to venture into the unknown. The ego does not want us to expand or grow or unfold. But the ego seeks to have us stay put right where we are. And so whenever we say yes to something new, whenever we move to change or transform or expand, the ego will jump in and he'll seek to not convey, but dissuade and persuade us from moving forward and persuade us to stay where we are. And it gives rise to fear and worry and doubt. And obviously the mantra of the ego is, I am not enough and there is not enough. And so from that standpoint, the ego seeks to have us believe that what we're doing is wrong. When we say yes to ourselves, and everything begins with self-love. If we want to walk the path of freedom, if we want to call forth the peace that passes human understanding, it begins with cultivating self-love, a sense of us being worthy, of us being able, of us being good enough, not because we've done something or because we have a certain title, or not because we have a certain amount of money in the bank, or because we drive a certain car or wear certain clothes, but us. We cultivate a sense of I am enough. Stripped and bare to my naked skin, I am still enough. Had I nothing to my back or to my name, I would still be enough. But the ego is very threatened by this, because as our consciousness expands, as we grow and unfold, it ultimately means the dissolution of the ego, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. But to the ego, that is terrifying. So the ego is, with any means necessary, trying to talk us out of expanding. But we want to say yes. We want to say yes. We want to say yes to growth, to unfoldment, to expansion. We want to say yes to keep moving into the unknown, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We want to say yes to ourselves, to allowing for greater and greater expressions of who and what we are. And that reminds me, I was speaking to another individual, and this individual asked me, he had tuned into these podcasts, and he asked me, this saying yes, what does it mean? What does it mean to say yes? And how many times do I have to say yes? So those are beautiful questions. And saying yes simply means that we become willing to be guided and moved and led. We become willing to get out of the way so that Spirit may have full sway with us. Just like whenever we jump into a cab, we're saying yes to the cab driver. We're giving the cab driver a mandate to take us to where we want to go. And so we jump into the back seat and totally surrender to the cab driver, trusting that he or she knows which way is the best way to go. So saying yes means being willing to not to release and let go of our attachments to what we think should be or what we think should not be. Saying yes means making ourselves open and available for God to flow through us. Trusting, knowing, and feeling that in each and every single moment, all is well. It may not be the way we think it should be. It may not be the way we want it to be, but it is still all and well. It is still good in each and every single moment. And this is what we want to say yes to. So saying yes is not only about demonstrating and manifesting big things. That comes as a side effect. As we begin to change, as we begin to transform, as we begin to grow, as we begin to expand, all these things, the whole universe rises up to meet us at this new vibration. And as consciousness always precedes form, as we begin to change, our external world begins to change. But it is not that we're saying yes to. We're not saying yes to have more things. We're not saying yes to have bigger things. We're not saying yes to be greater co-creators or bigger demonstrators. But we're saying yes to us. We're saying yes to the truth and the essence of who and what we are. That it may come forth. That is ultimately what we're saying yes to. Every time we say yes, we're saying yes to us becoming more of who and what we are. And in that yes, there's a no. There are many no's. If we are saying yes to us becoming more of who and what we are, then we're saying no to anything and everything that would limit that would obstruct that would block that. Now, I'm not saying that just because we say yes, all the no's just fall into place in that same moment. That's not how it happens, but saying yes, like I think I've mentioned that I have 3 supreme intentions in my life. I've had them for quite some time now. I've had intentions for a long time, but these 3 emerged about a year ago, I believe. At the beginning of this year, actually. I think that's when I actually said yes to them. I had them framed. If you're watching, you can see one of them above my head on the wall here, and the other two are hanging right beside this one. But I had them framed to really affirm my yes, that this is what my life is about. And these three are for me to wake up to who and what I am, for me to forever allow for greater and grander expressions of that who and what to emerge, and the one we can see here, for me to be a greater teacher and healer than I've ever imagined. And perhaps particularly this one was the last one for me to really say yes to. It's sort of been in the background for quite some time, but at the beginning of this year, I really stepped into it. I really leaned into it. I really said yes to it. I said to myself, let's go for it. And this year has been so magical in terms of the infinite possibilities that have flowed into my life and the transformations that I have gone through and the expansions that I have gone through. And they have all come because of my willingness and for my saying yes. And so what I've said no to is beliefs and perceptions about myself, beliefs and perceptions about what I'm capable of, what I'm worthy of, who I am in terms of what I'm doing in the world, what kind of service. There have been many times where that mental chatter, where the ego has bubbled up and basically said, who the heck do you think you are to do all these things with a podcast and online courses and having clients and this wisdom top manner thing that I actually haven't shared with you yet. So more about that at another time. But who do you think you are? Little, tiny, insignificant you with no education, no schooling, no nothing. Who do you think you are? And so I've had to say no to listen to that voice, saying yes to me being guided and moved and led by these three intentions, these three supreme intentions, means saying no to that which is not in alignment with that, and that which is not in alignment with them. And it is such a beautiful process. And it's like, of course, there's work to do. There's inner work to do. There's inner work where stuff comes up, comes to the surface. We become aware of things. We become aware of small and limited thought patterns and perceptions and point of views and judgments and all of that. And then through our becoming aware of them, we can begin to embrace and allow them, and we can begin to release and let them go. Yeah, so of course, there's inner work to be done. But still, I find that the dissolving, it happens by itself. There have been so many times where I've become aware of something, and through my becoming aware of it, it has dissolved right there and then. Something that has been a part of my expression for so long, but then all of a sudden it's no longer part of that of the new expression. That in the moment of becoming aware, it dissolves. It's being released and let go of. So there's inner work, but some of it happens in and of itself. So I cannot convey, at least that's my belief and that's my perception, that I cannot convey how grateful I am for all of the yeses that I have said in my life, for all of the yeses I will say in my life, and thus for all of the no's that have followed in the wake of these yeses. And so it's my invitation to you, to whatever you're facing, whatever is seeking to emerge from within you, whatever expansion you are finding yourself in front of, it is my invitation to say yes to it. Because every challenge that we face, every seeming obstacle, is merely a stepping stone upon which we can use to leap into a higher expression, into a higher consciousness, into a higher vibration. There is nothing against any of us, but everything is for all of us. Sometimes that may be hard to see. Sometimes that may be hard to believe, but it is still so. Everything is working for our good. In each and every single one of our challenges, there's a gift and a blessing. So we want to say yes to expansion. We want to say yes to growth. We want to say yes to unfolding. We want to say yes to venturing into the unknown. We want to say yes to shattering our current comfort zones. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over again. And by saying yes, we're simultaneously saying no. And the no's, they will come to the surface. We may not realize what we're saying no to in the moment that we're saying yes, but they will bubble up. We will become aware and they will dissolve. That we're saying no to. Some of it will be with gnashing of teeth and agony and perhaps a little bit of struggle. And some will just fall away. But we need to, we want to be clear about what we're saying yes to. And I'm not saying that we need to have everything figured out. I am not saying that we need to see the full picture, because we will not. Most of the time, I hardly see farther ahead than the next step for me to take. I'm still saying yes, but I am saying yes to these three intentions, but I have no idea what it's going to look like as it demonstrates and as it manifests itself. I have no idea what, even though I'm saying yes to forever love for greater and greater expressions of who what I am to emerge, I have no idea what that looks like. Even though I'm saying yes to waking up to who what I am, I have no idea what that looks like. Even though I'm saying yes to being a greater teacher and healer than I've ever imagined, I have no idea what that looks like. So we need not have everything figured out. This is not what saying yes is about. But saying yes is about being willing to keep moving forward. To say, thy will be done, come what may. Come what may. Come what may. So in this moment, let's do a little exercise in awareness. And so I invite you to close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. And in this moment, I invite us to ask the question, what do I need to say yes to? What am I being called to say yes to? We can augment or reverse that question also by asking, what do I need to say no to? So I invite you to sort of experiment with these two. What do you need to say yes to? What do you need to say no to? Just as inherent in the yes, there's no. Inherent in every no, there's a yes. So saying no to something means that you're saying yes to something else. What do you need to say yes to? What are you being called to say no to in this moment? You may open your eyes. Welcome to this higher level, this expanded consciousness. As always, whenever we have an insight, whenever we have a realization or a revelation, we're very, very wise to make a note of it, to perhaps write them down, and then, even more importantly, to give them permission to move us into action so that we will forever allow for greater and greater expressions to emerge, that we may forever transform, that we may forever grow, unfold. So whatever answers you caught to those questions, I invite you to give them permission to move you into action. So if you were called to say no to something, it is my invitation that you do begin to say no. If you're called to say yes to something, it is my invitation that you do begin to say yes. It's time to bless out. So in this moment, I invite you to close your eyes, to bring a smile to your face. And how grateful I am. How grateful I am for this path to freedom, this path of freedom. How grateful I am for the waking up. Not only my waking up, but our waking up. How grateful I am that there is a concept of waking up, that there is such a thing as waking up. To have been born or to have incarnated into this form, this human form, where we get to consciously participate in the awakening, where we get to consciously participate in the unfolding of who and what we are, that we get to consciously participate in allowing for greater and grander expressions of who and what we are to emerge. I am so grateful. And I'm grateful that you are joining me here. I'm grateful to have you as my travel partner on this path. We're obviously not in the same room. We're obviously not perhaps even in the same country. or in the same time zone, but yet we're walking this path together. We're sharing and we're co-creating and we're contributing and we are building this community together. You and me and everyone else who's tuning in. And for this, I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful for this episode and for that which has flowed through me. I'm not taking credit in any way, shape, or form for the words that I hear myself speak. But I'm grateful that they flow through me. I'm grateful for our willingness to become who and what we are, more of who and what we are. I'm grateful for our willingness to say yes, for our willingness to say no, for our increased ability and increased willingness to keep saying yes. Because ultimately, it is the yes that will move us forward. Something truly wonderful has happened by the grace of God, by the goodness of God, through the eternality of God and the allness of God. Something good has happened in this moment during this episode. Something wonderful has happened. Healing has taken place. Healing is taking place. Expansion has taken place and expansion is taking place. Unfolding and unfoldment has taken place and is taking place. From this moment on, we are not going to stay the same. From this moment on, we are saying yes to eternal expansion, eternal transformation. I know it and I feel it and I accept it. I give thanks for it, fully knowing that right where you are, the path, your path, unique and perfect for you, is now lighting up. It is becoming so clear. Your mind is becoming so peaceful. Clarity reigns supreme in your mind. Peace, wholeness, harmony, freedom reigns supreme in your being. You will never, ever, ever be the same again. A new you has been born. A new magnificent you has emerged. A new, beautiful, and powerful you has been called forth to never return again. But it is here to stay until the next you emerges. This I know, this I feel, this I accept, this I give thanks for. I allow this to be. So it is, and so be it. So shall it be. So it is, so be it. So shall it be. Amen. You may open your eyes and welcome to yet another, even higher level, even higher vibration. And so until the next time, filled with gratitude, filled with appreciation, I bless your day, and I bless your way. Beautiful, wonderful, radiant, magnificent, powerful being. Namaste.
You have been listening to an episode of the Path to Freedom podcast with me, Daniel Roqueo. I invite you to stay tuned for more episodes. If you have any questions or comments or just want to get more inspiration and empowerment, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I also invite you to visit my website, danielroqueo.com. I bless your day and I bless your way, you beautiful, wonderful being.